So I'm working on my ASI533 mono camera, and unfortunately as I was putting everything together, I came to realize that there was a big scratch on the anti-reflective window. It turns out this is a user replaceable item, so we're going to go through the process of replacing that filter. So this is a rather delicate operation, and to maintain cleanliness, I'm going to be using gloves to make sure I don't touch anything inside. And because we're opening up the camera, I'm also using a face mask to make sure that nothing that I breathe or do ends up getting inside. Probably overprotective, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. The first thing to do, I've already taken out one screw here, is to have a small screwdriver and carefully go through and remove the 4 screws. That's going to remove the outer protective plate so that we can get in and see this anti-reflective window. These are very small screws and easy to lose, so I keep them over in a magnetic bowl to help prevent them from running away. We can now remove the window carefully. There we go. And we can see our window to replace, in addition to an orange O-ring that is down in there. So to get access to this, the way that the ZWO manual describes it, we need to take the top piece off as well. This uses, I believe, I think it's something close to an M3 screw that uses the M2.5 head, and we can remove these screws. Okay, so we now have these open, and we can remove the top. Now at this point, once this gets removed, the inside can be exposed to air and humidity that's in the room. So I'm going to hold off on that for just a minute. I will go ahead and make sure we have a good, clean environment as much as possible. And I'm going to open up the replacement part that we're going to have here. So you can get these. They're between $20 and $30, at least for this size. They get more expensive for the larger size cameras, but it is recognized as a replaceable part that is a rather specific thickness and flatness to the glass to make sure that it can work. All right, so we have the replacement window that is between 2 adhesive layers. So I will get this started, but leave it mostly closed while we can. There we go. So this will be ready to go. So now we have prepared our filter. Everything is ready to open. The order of operations here is going to be to open the top, flip it over. We're going to press on the glass to remove it. So now we're ready to replace the filter. We have the original filter that's still on. We have the replacement filter queued up and ready to go. And we also have a lint-free cloth ready for any cleanup should we need it. So the way that it's described in the ZWO manual is to remove the top, which does have just a little bit of grease on it to help with the seal. These are the descant tabs, and based on their color, we can see that they are still doing their job and don't need to be replaced yet. That is also a replaceable part. So if the camera can see it, there is definitely a scratch on that surface. So using my gloved fingers, I'm going to grab the glass and it just pops right off, so that now after just a little bit of pressure, it has come off. Nope, there is grease on the bottom, so we don't want to sit it on that side. So we are supposed to remove this O-ring, which seems to be on there pretty good. So I'm using a plastic pry stick to see if I can get under it a little better. Kind of surprised they don't send like a replacement O-ring with these. Can't tell if this is almost glued down. Yeah, this is actually ripping the O-ring a little bit. So I'm using this little wedge to make sure that I can get under and hopefully not rip the O-ring. Okay, so I have that O-ring off, and if the camera can see it, you can see a little bit of fingerprint there, and you can see some residual of some of the O-ring that was left behind. So now I'm going to flip over the camera receiver. I'm going to place the O-ring where it needs to go. Because I was seeing that there's even a little bit of residue transfer from my gloves, I'm going to attempt to open this face and leave the glass attached on the back side so that I can bring this up and touch it in place. Remove the top. And so I've been able to do that without touching any of the glass. Because this is now much more free-floating than it was previously, I'm going to get the top back in. I know I want to do this as quickly as reasonable because that desiccant is sucking up water and water is going into the camera up there. So let's try and do this quickly. So I won't tighten that all the way down until we have all of the screws in place, making extra sure that the screwdriver doesn't slip and scratch the brand new window. So that I have all four in, I'll give them just a little bit of snug. Not a lot, just enough to make sure it's in place. All right, desiccant's still looking good. Line up the 4 screws. The sensor is square, but the window is not. So I'm going to choose to line up one of the shorter sides so that it blocks the cable band, assuming that maybe that matters or not. I don't know. All right, so now we have camera in place. Switch over to the M2.5 socket head and get our screws back in. Same process, don't tighten stuff down too much. Just get it loosely set, and then we'll go back and tighten everything down. Now we'll go back and do one last check to make sure that if the O-ring has compressed on this, if there's any more distance. Again, it's not cranking down on this, it's just giving it a little nudge. All right. And there we have a nice, clean, freshly replaced anti-reflection window on our camera. Thanks. Hope you don't have to do this like I did.